Hello everybody, and welcome to the Sims History Channel. This is Professor Lilith, and we are continuing with our last episode in the Harlem Heian mashup. In this series, I've taken 5 historically important women from medieval Japan and from the Harlem Renaissance period in America, and I've made Sim versions of them, and put them all in the same household together to see what would happen if they had lived together as young adults. And the one that we're following is in the little black outfit facing us. That's Dorothy West, and then to her right is Bessie Smith, and to her left is Madam C.J. Walker. Dorothy is the last of our 5 ladies to have her own series. We did Madam C.J. Walker first, and we found out, for instance, that if she doesn't have a starving kid to light a fire under her, she spends most of her time hanging out with her girlfriends and exercising. We've been following Bessie Smith. She was the first one, and we found out that she likes to flirt a whole lot, but that if we get her music skill high enough, she will sit at the piano for hours and hours and hours and hours composing. Dorothy has been in the background in all of these because she lives in the same house with them, but today we get to actually hang out with her and get to know her. I've always found Dorothy very entertaining when she was in the background, but now we'll see what she's like when she's in the foreground and carrying the show all on her own. Now, the rules to this experiment are pretty simple. If you remember, each of these little sim people has the ability to act autonomously. If they want to do something that they can't do autonomously, then I'm allowed to give them a command to go do that thing they want to do. And if you're not a Sims player, you could tell what they want to do by looking at that lower left-hand corner. When you see the sim displayed there, that in this case is Dorothy, those little bubbles over the head show what she wants to do. And I can only show that for one sim at a time. Now, I cheated all the girls into a good mood before we started, but you can see that they've talked so long that Dorothy is uncomfortable. You can see by that orange stuff around her little figure and the red little image of toilet paper on the bottom right. So she needs to pee. And then here is Bessie, and I don't know what this is about, but for some reason Bessie Smith wets herself kind of a lot in this version of her sim self. I don't know what it is. She seems to be the one least able to go to the restroom. I don't know if it's that she can't remember that she has to stop talking to people or what, but I promise you they can all use the restroom autonomously. It's not anything I'm doing. And Madam C.J. Walker apparently decided that she would rather sleep in the park than go home to sleep, and I guess there's nothing that I can do about that. But our next little phase here is to watch Dorothy. Her roommates are all doing things of their own, as you can see, say Shonigan, the one who had her own video where she apparently spent all of her time cleaning and, occasionally hoping to look at a work of art. She's been dancing all day, and Murasaki Shikibu, as you saw in her last video, is still autonomously running over to paint things. I never ask her to do that on her own. She just does it without any help. But let's see what Dorothy wants to do today. So when she wakes up, we get to watch her do her thing, and I noticed as she got up that the only thing that she wanted to do that I could help her with was to go meet somebody new. So I'm having her travel with some of her friends to another location where she can actually meet some new people. I thought that the local spa would be relaxing, and here they are, and you may have noticed in that brief moment that one of her friends came wearing her underwear. So let's hope that we don't see what I mean. At least she'll be in her swimsuit for most of this period. And we're just going to follow the girls around and see what they're doing. Madam C.J. Walker is having a lovely time swimming in the pool. And let's see what Dorothy is sitting in the hot tub. And she's really enjoying it. I mean, look at how happy she is. But I tell you, this is the funny thing about her. She constantly wants to meet somebody new. I mean, she wants that pretty often. But when I take her out, she doesn't introduce herself to people. It's like she comes out, she has a good time. I mean, she always has a good time when she's out, but she never actually fulfills any of the little whims that she apparently thinks she wants to fill. And, well, I find that curious, but perhaps not entirely unexpected. Oh, there she is. She's actually talking to her friends. See, she'll talk to her friends, but not necessarily to the people she doesn't know. So I'm betting, yeah, see, she doesn't even introduce herself to that new guy. Or I think she knows the purple-haired chick, but she's not going to chat with her. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Oh, look at that. Bessie has found the video games. That's so cute. Look at her go. Now, what is Say doing, and why have I... Ah, yes, I brought Say Shonigan over because she wanted to go do something new. And we're going to ignore the incoming phone calls from work because we're going to have our little darling take a day off so that she can enjoy herself. Anyway, yeah, Say, if you want to come over to hang out, you're going to have to actually come over, right? I guess she doesn't. I guess she just wants to stand around and read. Whatever. I mean, look, I brought her over there, but no. Anyway. And Dorothy's going to exercise. When I saw her interviewed talking about her young life, she had this look. She said, you know, the thing to do back when she was young was to party all the time and drink madly and have wonderful conversations. You know, she grew up she became a young woman in the Roaring 20s. And, you know, she sounded like she did a lot of that, but I also kind of got the feeling, I kind of got the feeling that maybe what she did was go to the parties and observe, maybe, more than participate. At least that's what her sim character does here, and in other ways, you'll see, she does seem, as a sim character, to reflect what I do know of Dorothy West in her real character. So, for instance, Dorothy West was a writer, and you'll see that she does have lots of little writing whims, but for right now, she's apparently partying down pretty hard. But you notice, right, we had a bunch of people there. As soon as there's too many people, she stops with the partying. She goes to do something else. Even though she's got the personality trait of being outgoing, she does seem to have to retreat from seeing people. And look, this guy tried to introduce himself to her, right? You saw him waving. Did she talk to him? No, there she is. She's sitting alone at the table. What's that all about? Because, you know, when she was a young woman, she was quite popular and she was invited everywhere. She was the youngest of the Harlem Renaissance writers, so she was kind of their little mascot. And I guess maybe that's why she was not, you know, maybe that's why she was at all the parties. And, you know, maybe she has a kind of mascot personality. I don't know. But, you know, yep, look at that. She wants to entertain herself, right? Hanging out with the girls, See, she can party so long that her friends fall asleep in the pool. She's going to wear out all of them with her partying, but she doesn't, you know, she doesn't do any of that massive interacting with the new people that you see, like with Bessie Smith. Bessie introduces herself to pretty much everybody pretty early, but not Dorothy Walker. Ah, look at that. She's having a cut. Look, they were there for ages with that guy, and she still hasn't talked to him. She's not going to talk to the girl in the chestnut hair over there. And, you know, there's that, yeah, this guy on her right. I don't think, oh, good. She did introduce herself to him. And I can tell that because she has more available interactions. When I do those little clicks with my pointer, I'm not actually selecting actions for her to do. I'm usually just checking to see what she can do and what she wants to do. And if she has a whim that, again, she can't do, then maybe I will have her do something. But all those times you see me clicking on the characters on those to get those interaction screens, I'm not actually doing anything with them. Now, she does sit in the hot tub quite a lot longer, but let's move it back and take her home so that, and here is the moment that I want you all to see. Yes, a lot of Sims players complain that none of their characters ever get abducted by the aliens in the game, right? Which is, the aliens are a little unrealistic and supposedly humorous touch. I find that I cannot play this game continuously for more than 4 or 5 hours without one of my Sims getting kidnapped. And here we see it, little Murasaki Shikibu getting kidnapped, and I'm pausing here to take a bunch of pictures because I like to be able to prove it to people, and I just kind of think it's fun when they get kidnapped. But anyway, once again, one of my Sims is getting kidnapped from doing nothing at all but walking around outside on the way back from a party. And here we'll just fast forward through all the photographs and bits of film pausing that I take and go straight to the main event. And she's gone. She'll be gone for a number of hours and come back dazed. But back to watching our little household of Sims in action. Dorothy has come home. She wants to have a little bit of food, so she's cooking for herself, obviously. Bessie Smith is exhausted, but I've noticed, if you see that little thing that looks like a unicorn on the right side of, that is actually her desire to write a new song. So I kind of pinned that desire, and then I don't know if you saw earlier that book that Say Shonigan was reading when she was hanging around outside the spa. That is actually one that she wrote herself. It's the second book that she's written during this series. And again, I don't make them write. I give them, I put them on the machine, on the computer when they say they want to write, and I, start them off. But I don't make them write a bunch of times, only when they have that whim. And basically what they do, she and Dorothy both, is they sit and they write until the friggin' book is done, or until they're just exhausted. So anyway, this is the second book that she's published. She can't publish it without me, so I published it. I sent her down to publish it. And actually Dorothy gets royalties of over $300 a day, and I think now Say Shonigan's going to be getting about $50 a day. About $250 a day. Now, as you can see from the fact that her little face screen is gray, Dorothy's gone to bed, but let's just watch Murasaki come back in from being kidnapped by the aliens, because I mean, look at that. That's so cute. And you can see she's kind of dazed, and she's going to go to bed. And we'll pick back up when Dorothy gets up. Now, nothing much happened after that while Dorothy was asleep, except that Murasaki and Say Shonigan danced all night. So now we have Dorothy up and getting ready for the day, and you can see over here that she has another interesting whim. That is, she wants to write. Now, she's not in a good enough mood to write right now. She's hungry, she needs to pee, blah, blah, blah. But if she gets in a better mood, then I'll have her do that. I don't know if you noticed, one of the little notifications that we got on the top right showed us that Madam C.J. Walker had gone to work. I don't send her to work. I just gave her a job. So when she goes to work, that's because she's decided that day that she's going to go to work. She's not going to skip. And she doesn't skip very often. Bessie Smith in the background is playing piano. And that is because she had that whim to write a song earlier, and so when she got in a good mood, I put her on the piano to write a song. And so she had, from that moment that she sat down at the piano, she has been continuing to play. Where is she? Oh well, I keep experimenting here with the perspective. But anyway, she's going to keep playing for quite a while, even while Dorothy and Murasaki sit and have breakfast together. And they're pretty good friends, as you can see. And yeah, that's their maid. You can see there she is, playing in the background, playing her song. You can't hear it for copyright reasons because I've damped out all of the music from the Sims game. But all the girls are listening and enjoying themselves while Bessie starts to write a new song. Now, at this point in the game, Dorothy is feeling good enough to actually do some writing, so I'm sitting her down at the computer to do some of that. And let's just take a little bit of a look at the time once she looks like it's about 1:20, and I apologize for the quality of this recording. I cannot quite figure out why it looks perfectly fine when I capture it and then not so good on the editor. Apologies. Anyway, we're going to have her write a book, and so I decided to name the book, because we have to give the book a name, Mermaids and Tears. It's a story of a sad, sad mermaid who learns the importance of cheerfulness and a good perspective. Anyway, let's just watch Dorothy write. And, I've got this on high speed because just as when we watched Murasaki Shikibu fishing, and fishing, this is just kind of what Dorothy does. And you can see she's pretty happy while she's doing it. She keeps laughing and chuckling and smiling to herself, and she just writes on and on. You can see that the other girls, except for Bessie, are all going to bed. Bessie's still playing, because she has not finished writing that song yet, and apparently, and look how happy that music playing has made her now. Dorothy's done, but she's not done because she's bored. She's done because she's finished her book. What did I tell you? They sit down, she and Sei Shonigan both, and they write until they are done. Bessie Smith still playing, still getting her stuff on. And when we go to look at Dorothy's whims, and I don't know why, hey, come on, Dorothy, here we are. You'll notice that 2 more of her whims have to do with writing. She wants to write an excellent book, and she wants to publish a book, I think, are those 2 whims that you see hovering over the right of the little icon for her head. So, that's pretty much what I've seen of Dorothy. She really likes the people that she knows. She does like to hang out and talk with them a whole lot. She likes to party, but she doesn't really seem to be very comfortable introducing herself to new people or talking with new people. She seems actually, even though her character trait is supposed to be outgoing, it seems like she's only outgoing with people that she already knows. And she really does love to write. She just will sit and write and write and write. And look over there, Bessie Smith is still working on her song. Now, although Dorothy is the last character in the mashup for us to follow, this is not the end of the Harlem Renaissance period experiments, or the experiments that involve the Harlem Renaissance. The next experiment that I'm going to be running, and I'll be bringing back France too. The next experiment that I'm going to be running is that James Van Der Zee one. He's going to be with his family doing the kinds of things that the real guy did in real life. And in the meantime, all of my characters from this episode will be playing in the background, and I'll have them all dressed actually in more Harlem Renaissance appropriate outfits. So, today's take-home, Dorothy West, shy with strangers, outgoing with friends, able to write as long as it takes to get things done. Bye!